we're back. This is Season 2, Episode 4 of the SilmFilm project. This is now Part 3? Part 4? Part 3. Something like that. 3 or 4. One of those. Part 4, 3, whatever it is. We're back. So, we've come a long way. We're coming into the home stretch amazingly. We are capable of organization. We have the technology.
Unlike
the Teleri. So the third thing that I had forgotten to mention is that it would be really interesting if Olwë has jumped to the conclusion that the Dark Rider has taken Olwë, and then maybe Beleg says, okay, well, we're going to take a search party and we're going to go look for him, and Olwë is like, what do you mean? Obviously, the Dark Rider took him, or something to that effect. And Celeborn, who has actually witnessed himself our Dark Rider attack, says, no, this is nothing like that.
Right. I wanted the elves who were with Olwë, who report him missing, to know that this wasn't the Dark Rider.
Right, and Celeborn uses the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, so I do like using Celeborn for that. And Olwë can jump to the conclusion because he wasn't there. He didn't see or experience what happened.
Right.
So it makes sense to him, but they're like, no, we don't buy that.
Right.
Yeah. And it shows that there's like a qualitative difference in atmosphere of when the Dark Rider's around versus when Melian's around, and we do want that distinction to be clear to some.
Right.
Yeah, and that would explain why Beleg, Mablung, and Celeborn are so adamant about staying and searching then, because they know that there's some reason to hope.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I feel like Beleg gets stuck on searching for people duty a whole lot in his plot. You know?
Poor Beleg.
Yeah, poor Beleg. Always hunting for people in the woods. It's just the worst for him, probably. But he's so good at it.
That's fine. It all starts right here. Okay. So if we show that scene, okay, and then we go to, I have this image in my head. I have no idea how it would work. Okay, I'm gonna spitball this at you real quick. I'm gonna run this up. I'm gonna run this up the flagpole, see if anybody salutes it. It's an ancient movie reference for anybody who did. So, what if we found a way for Olwë to kind of announce to the people that Olwë has gone missing, and they're looking for volunteers to stay behind and help look for him, and like half of them are like, yeah, me, I'll stay behind.
Okay.
How would that work, though?
Right, because it would immediately make it look like no one trusts Olwë's leadership.
Right. Which makes sense, because a bunch of the people who do follow Olwë's leadership are going to get mercilessly slaughtered.
Yes, but no one knows that. Like that's not predictable at this point.
I know. Irony.
So
We will have time in the next episode to set up Olwë as a leader who makes the decisions. Yeah. So it might be okay if his first announcement as leader is a little rocky. It doesn't go very well.
Yeah.
I mean, we have time to fix this.
Right.
Yeah.
We can damage his credibility now and fix it later, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
But I am saying that your idea damages his credibility.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Because.
Well, I mean, also, it's a chaotic enough situation and environment. They're having to make decisions very quickly, because if it is the Dark Rider, it matters. Time matters. So it's not like, okay, you have 24 hours to think about, the implications of the decision. It's going to be just from their gut. No, I have to go look for him. Or, no, I don't think I should. I'll follow you.
Well, okay. Here's a possibility. what if the... Okay, we can set up that Nen Elmoth is not super far away from the camp. We can set that up by having their conversation as they're walking up to it indicate that they're almost there.
Ah, okay. Yeah, they're on the way back from the Noldor camp, and they're like, "Oh, we're almost to our camp now," and then Elmoth happens.
And then we hear nightingales singing, and things get crazy.
Right. So instead of just having like a show of hands, like we're not following you, Olwë, have him say something to the effect of they're going to be leaving in a little while. I love how we can't say anything like they're leaving in the morning, they're leaving in a few hours. No, none of that.
Yeah.
We're leaving in a little while. Oh, that's gotta be. No wonder the Teleri can't get anything together. The Noldor just invent clocks just to have something to be able to.
An hourglass works. A sand thing that you turn upside down. Yeah. It works regardless of whether or not it's calibrated to anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the Noldor have hourglasses, I feel.
Yes. Maybe. Oh my goodness! Wouldn't it be hilarious if Elwë asks Finwë, "How on earth do you get all these people to leave at the same time?" And he shows them an hourglass and be like, "Yeah, we just leave when this is finished, and then we go. That's how we do that." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "What? Give me one. I want one." It never gets there.
But it stays with Thingol so that in Doria, in Menegra, somewhere, there's an hourglass displayed, and it's like, this is my gift from my friend Finwë.
My last gift from Finwë. Wow, that was a joke. That's actually a great idea.
It's a great, and speaking as the merchandising person, we can make use of this.
Yeah.
Get a replica of the hourglass, or in like a little necklace.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a friendship hourglass.
Oh,
this is a friendship lock.
That's so cute. I want a hourglass now.
Okay.
That's a good idea, Nick.
Okay. So
the hourglass.
I like how Marie turned my dumb joke into a good idea. That's awesome. Okay.
I take everything completely seriously, including dumb jokes.
This is why we need each other. We're so good together.
Okay.
Because I'm like on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm like, everything is hilarious if you think about it long enough.
True.
All right. So we get awesome. So Olwë says, all right, in a little while, we're going to leave. If you want to stay and help look for Elwë, Beleg and Celeborn, they say that they're going to stay and help look for Elwë. If you want to do that, that's okay. All right, and you can follow us when you're ready. He doesn't say when you find him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the thing is, it should be clear that Olwë has very little hope that anyone's going to find Elwë. It would explain him leaving a lot better if he's truly convinced that his brother is gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, especially if Elwë
Are Celeborn and Beleg going to get any lines being like, if anybody wants to come help, we're going to be standing right over here. We'll leave very soon. Or is it we're going to leave the lines to him instead of them?
Well, what I'm suggesting is that Olwë and crew are going to move on, and they're going to leave behind anybody who's going to stay and help look for Elwë. All right, and so what this does is it gives us a moment, the next morning, when Olwë leaves, and he realizes that a bunch of people didn't go.
Oh.
Yeah. Because his first
mistake, long to notice.
His first mistake was leaving a choice up to the Teleri that to follow him involved going somewhere and doing something. And not following his directions involved just staying where you are. because just staying where you are works better for most people. So they're like, oh, we can just stay in this camp? We're totally going to stay in the camp until it's time to go.
Yeah, this is fine.
So go ahead, Olwë, we'll catch up.
Instead of half of the... Now what's the proportion that stay behind again? I forget. Is it like half?
Something like.
Okay, all right. So let's, for right now purposes, say that it's half of them. So it's not like half of them are like, hey, yeah, we're going to go look for Olwë. That might be somewhere in the back of their head, like somewhere, that might be like their excuse, but they really just didn't want to leave yet.
Yes.
It's very Hilary of them.
Because it's actually a really nice spot, this place where they're camped.
Yeah.
It's actually not, because if it's, sorry, I don't mean to be obnoxious, but
good.
If you go from Nan Elmoth towards the mountains,
there's
that plain there.
Yeah.
The place where Hallis people end up, and she gets slaughtered by, they all get slaughtered by orcs between the rivers.
Okay.
That's there. So that could be where the camp is. It could be where the people of Hallis camp is later on.
Minus the orcs?
Minus the orcs, which might make it better.
Yeah.
There's some rivers there. It's like two rivers join up, and there's like
I remember that.
Yeah. Besides it being a nice place or not nice place, they're probably just like tired.
Right.
I mean, not everybody's into road trips, so there's probably a few people being like, okay, he might turn up. He might have just needed the necessity, and he'll show up eventually. We'll wait.
All right.
And then they wait a very long time.
Now, there was some discussion about there being families broken up by the migration somewhere along the lines. Where else? It was Círdan.
Yeah, the Círdan always split. That's the final split. Yeah. Where it's more significant if a family breaks up.
Right. If
a Nandor Sindar family split up, they could conceivably trek over some mountains and visit each other someday eventually.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But always Crew's getting on an island and Círdan's is not, so it's a more definitive split.
So maybe we show Olwë having a moment of, oh my god, this is like a moment of kind of like these people are never going to follow me, whiny, and Círdan maybe bolsters him a little bit.
Right.
So we can start giving Círdan real lines for a little while.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because Círdan has no important role until it's down to Olwë, because it's Olwë and Círdan in that group. Right. So up until that point, he's just minor background elf.
Right. So now we're setting up their relationship here.
Yes. And I like the idea of him seeming like the wise counselor, and Olwë being the uncertain new king.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a good dynamic for them.
Him stepping in at a moment where Olwë's fairly emotionally compromised.
Yeah.
And needs that second voice. Because that'll make their relationship closer and then be that much sadder later on. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Maximum sadness factor. That's what we need to go for.
Maximum sadness for everything.
Right.
Because this is the Silmarillion.
Yes.
Where everything is sad.
Do we have Olwë? Yeah. Do we have Olwë go forward to kind of report the news of Olwë's apparent death to Finwë?
Does Finwë know that he's missing before he gets on the island?
Because maybe he wouldn't go
I do not know.
if he didn't know.
Finwë's pretty committed to this at this point. I don't think he would turn back.
Yes, but he's also kind of codependent, as we've established a couple of times.
Yeah, so his best friend being lost might be an issue.
Yeah.
So he obviously knows after he gets to Valinor, he eventually finds out that
Olwë gets there. So maybe Finwë... Go on.
Finwë's going to be the one who says, hey, Asti, quit fooling around and bring over the Teleri.
Right.
I miss my buddy Olwë.
Right. So he doesn't know yet. Right.
Instigate. Right. But that's going to instigate Olwë getting on the boat.
Right.
So
Finwë.
I feel like Finwë might not know yet.
Okay. So maybe Finwë is hanging out on the shore, and the boat comes back. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like we show a little conversation with him, and hey, Matt is once again a good person for us to have him talk to, mm-hmm. And he can say, you know, we can see him kind of like looking off into the distance, like, should I wait for Olwë? Well, you know what? I'm sure that he'll be along any time now.
Okay.
It's time. It's time to. The hourglass says it's time to go. So let's head aboard, and he leaves. And the next shot we get is the shot of Thingol and Melian in the glade alone for years.
Yeah, I kind of like that, partly because one mistake in many fantasy genres is the dissemination of information happens way too easily and too quickly.
Yes.
So you have characters all knowing what happened somewhere far away and acting on that information, when really they should have no idea. They should be 6 months behind on the news.
Right.
Tolkien was pretty good about that. He has people acting on old information for a long time before it gets corrected sometimes.
Yeah.
So I would like Finwë to be in the dark here, where the audience knows that this is going to be a bad thing, but Finwë is getting on the boat thinking that Olwë is right behind him.
Right. That's going to take some pretty good writing to sell that as not being as not making Finwë just look stupid.
Well, how would he know? Like, there's been no contact.
Right. But remember that viewers still forget that's not how that works. You know.
They'll catch up. They'll figure it out, right?
Well, we can put that in the dialogue. Finwë can be like, I haven't, is there any news from the Teleri camp? Yeah. I haven't heard anything from them since the last time Olwë was here.
Right.
And Muriel could be like, well, you know how they are. They don't send messengers very often. I'm sure they're catching up. They're working on coming. Don't worry about it. I'm sure they'll be here soon.
Right. Maybe Muriel does not particularly enjoy Olwë's influence on Finwë.
I mean, that would be accurate.
It would be very, very Tolkien Lewis Edith, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Saying.
Okay, so let's do that.
Too hard though. Let's not make her like the sport wife.
Not being mean. No.
That's why I wanted to give her dialogue that was encouraging, like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm sure they'll."
Yeah.
Like, she's not saying, "I hate your stupid friend, and I hope we never see him again."
Right. Yeah. I never liked that guy anyway.
Forget that. Yeah. Okay.
But she might have a little impatience with him whining yet again of, I miss Olwë. Nothing's the same without him here. Yeah, and she's just like, I'm sure he'll be here soon. Just
chill out.
He'll be on the next boat.
Right, yeah. I'm sure he's just over that mountain. Anyway, so...
He has your time class now. It's like, he'll catch up. Don't worry, hun. Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah. Did we do the main story? Did we just do that?
With a half an hour to spare.
Well, good, because we still have frame.
Right, but so we're on track.
Let's take a quick break, and we will take the rest of our remaining time to do frame, and it'll be awesome. So, once again, this has been the SilmFilm Script Discussion Season 2, Episode 4. This is part 4 or 5 or 7 or 27, something like that. If you're watching this on YouTube Live, we'll be back in a few minutes. If you're watching this after the fact, hello, future people, and feel free to like and share the videos. If you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe. We love that. Definitely comment down below if you have any input. We'll be back in a moment.